CBS47 Action News Jax at 5 begins with breaking news.
And that breaking news at St. Simons Island, where 3 crew members have been rescued from this capsized cargo ship. One person still trapped inside. Sky Action News Jax giving you a live look right now at rescue efforts on the Golden Ray. This is the St. Simons Sound, where you can see the rescuers there. Well, we just lost the signal from Sky Action News Jax right on cue. This is video from about an hour or so ago, exclusive video of that rescue effort. And Action News Jax was there as we saw the 3rd crew member taken out of the ship on a stretcher and moved to a rescue boat. These new up-close pictures show the crew members being rescued. You can see the man on the left there. Look at the smile on his face. And moments later, the Coast Guard shared this video of crews unloading the stretcher with that 3rd crew member, watching there as they bring him off the boat and walk that stretcher up the walkway. Amazing stuff to see. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. Let's get you caught up with the very latest on the rescue effort still underway. Now that 4th person is on board and we're told trapped behind a glass and unable to get to food or water. And right now, rescue crews are working on a plan to get that person out. The Coast Guard says the 3 rescued crew members appear to be in okay health considering their circumstances. Action News Jax has live team coverage from St. Simons Island tonight on the rescue and the investigation into what went wrong. We begin with Action News Jax Christy Turner. She's live outside of the hospital in Brunswick, and Christy, at least 2 of the crew members are being treated there.
We're at Southeast Georgia Health System in Brunswick, where we've confirmed at least 2 of the crew members are being treated. The hospital tells me they are in stable condition, which is incredible considering they spent more than 30 hours trapped inside that hot and stuffy cargo ship. I want to show you that remarkable rescue operation. Sky Action News Jax was over the cargo ship as it was all unfolding. This is exclusive video. You can see a crew member being strapped to a stretcher and lowered to safety. The Coast Guard says they were able to pinpoint their location inside by tapping on the vessel, and that's how they were able to communicate. 3 of the 4 crew members were rescued and have been removed safely. The Coast Guard says the last rescue, though, is proving to be tricky.
The 4th is stuck behind a glass, enclosed in a engineering control room, with those same experts who got us to where we are right now, we're going to find a way to get him safely extracted from that room as well. And he unfortunately has not had the access to fresh water or food that the others have at this point. So we'll continue to press forward.
About an hour ago, we saw an ambulance arrive at this hospital. I'm working to figure out if that was the 3rd crew member being carried to this hospital. As for the 4th person still stuck, it is a race against time to get to them. The Coast Guard says they have no idea how long it's going to take. But of course, we'll stay on top of this story as it continues to develop. Reporting live in Brunswick, Christy Turner, CBS47 Action News Jax.
Really what makes this rescue so remarkable is the massive size of the ship. Take a look at this video from Sky Action News Jax. You see the propeller there compared to those large tugboats, and people on that hull, the red part of the ship there, are tiny. They look so small. That gives you a good idea. Well, to give you better perspective of how big the ship is, let's compare it to TIAA Bank Field. You can see the ship underneath what we've put on top of it here, 2 football fields, because the ship's 656 feet long. That's longer than 2 football fields end to end. It's also 118 feet wide, so you're not even seeing the full width of the ship from the video we're showing you because part of it is underwater. We want to show you what the inside of the ship looks like, and you see how cars would fit into this open area right here. And the decks there are used for cars and designed with a mostly clear floor to give crews easy access to store as many cars as possible. And then this right here is where the crew was waiting for rescue teams, the engine room, which is why you saw the team near that propeller. Action News Jax investigator Ben Becker continues our live team coverage. Ben, a local maritime expert, tells you he believes the cars on board the ship shifted in the hull.
And John, you mentioned just how big this ship is, right? It can hold about 4,000 vehicles. And take a look behind me and get another look at it. Again, as you said, about the size of 2 football fields. Now, if in case you're wondering, currently it's sitting actually on the floor of the Sound. And that's a part of that ship is actually underwater right now, but it is sitting still, not moving. But as we've been talking about, the question is, how did this happen? And one local expert told me somebody dropped the ball. The Golden Ray sits capsized on the floor of the St. Simons Sound, but maritime expert Rod Sullivan believes he can see how it got there.
The only explanation I can come up for that is that the cargo inside the ship shifted. It wasn't properly lashed down.
Car lashings like this are straps to prevent vehicles from moving once they're driven onto so-called ro-ro ships, meaning they roll on and roll off. This is video of what it can look like on the inside. Basically a parking garage, but that's only part of the story.
Whatever caused it to run aground is something else.
The Port of Brunswick is one of the busiest U.S. seaports for shipping vehicles. Sullivan believes the ship got into shallow water because another ship, the Emerald Ace, was also in the channel.
When these two ships cross or come head to head, they each have to move to the outside of the channel, and that's put this ship in the shallowest part.
As for any other scenario that could have caused this, Sullivan says it's unlikely.
Could it happen if there was a tremendous imbalance in ballast or fuel? Yeah, but you would have noticed that leaving the dock 5 miles ago.
All right, I mentioned the amount of vehicles on board. So if you do the math, 4,000 vehicles worth about $25,000 a piece. We're looking at $100 million worth of cargo on this boat right now, $100 million worth of vehicles. But the most important cargo, the precious cargo, is the one person still there. We're keeping an eye on that. Ahead at 6, I'm digging into the inspection reports on this ship and how well it's done. It began hitting the water in 2017. Again, I'll have that information at 6. Reporting live from St. Simons Island, Ben Becker, CBS47, Action News Chats.
And this massive rescue effort has taken nearly 2 days. It could go longer depending on how long it takes to get to that final crew member. Action News Jack's Danny Bozzini has been live at the port for 2 days. And Danny, the Coast Guard didn't waste any time getting to work.
Yeah, I've been out here on the pier for the past 2 days, and today we finally got the good news everyone was hoping for. 3 of the 4 survivors have been rescued from the Golden Ray. It's the news everyone was praying for. 4 crew members found trapped inside the Golden Ray were found alive. This is footage from Sky Action News Jax pulling one of the survivors from the hull of this ship.
We had good news that they called them and everybody yelled out, "We here," so that's a blessing.
For the last 2 days, dozens of spectators have made their way to the St. Simons Island pier, watching as the U.S. Coast Guard on land, sea, and air work to rescue the crew members.
You see stuff on the movies and, other places, but in the local area, it's unheard of. But it happened, and I just thank God that everybody's okay.
The people out here on the pier are definitely in higher spirits now that they know all 4 survivors will be okay. Live in St. Simons Island, Danny Bozzini, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
And to give you a little perspective on how long it could take to upright a cargo ship, you may remember these images of the Costa Concordia. This was a cruise liner that ran aground and overturned near Tuscany in January 2012. 32 people died on this ship. It took about 2 years for the 114,000-ton ship to be upright, and then another several months before it was moved to be scrapped.
A local nonprofit dedicated to helping the St. Simons port is already stepping up to help the crew members who were rescued from the ship. International Seafarers Center, located in Brunswick, fed and clothed the initial 20 crew members who made it safely off the cargo ship yesterday morning. Locals are also helping the center with their efforts.
Felt moved to make a donation for helping out these sailors. They've been through a lot, and they've lost everything, so every little bit helps.
Today, several people came to the center donating bags of fresh food, men's clothing, and money so the center so they could make sure the crew members have everything they need. Download the Action News Jax News app right now to get the first alert on the ongoing rescue effort for that final crew member. You can also find a photo gallery of the rescue that had happened already and see videos from Sky Action News Jax.
Right now, a man is in jail for the murder of a 16-year-old Jacksonville boy. Jaso announced Clio Bentley's arrest today. He is accused of killing Diego Morales on Bay Meadows Road in December. Police say the gun used in the killing was stolen from an unlocked car back in October of 2017. The First Alert Weather Team tracking high temperatures across our area. Right now, several places hotter than 95 degrees, including Waycross there.
It is cruel out there. Action News Jax First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Bursch tracking that heat. Mike, didn't let up much from yesterday. Of course, we know that was brutal at the Jags game.
Yeah, record and near record heat. Ever since Dorian left about Wednesday and Thursday, because underneath a storm like that, we get very dry air. It heats up in a hurry, and today has been no exception. Really about the 5th straight day in a row with well above average temperatures. Ought to be in the upper 80s this time of year. 93 degrees right now in Jacksonville, but we've been as hot as at least 95 and very near the record of 97 degrees. There's a little bit of a sea breeze that has helped out at the beaches where temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s right now. First Alert Skycam Network from Fernandina Beach shows there the temperature at about 90 degrees with a little help from that east wind, but the wind really starts to kick in off the Atlantic over the next several days, and that means some pretty big temperature changes. I'll have that First Alert forecast in minutes.
Well, if you were watching the Jags game yesterday, you may have seen this. Look at that, it tapped out. On-field temperatures well over 120 degrees. There were 86 medical calls at the stadium. 18 people had to be taken to the hospital. Action News Jags' Bridget Matter shows us the options the Jags have for helping you stay cool at the game.
The Jags home opener was a scorcher. JFRD, they recorded temperatures of more than 120 degrees inside the stadium, and 18 people had to be taken to the hospital. In the season opener of the Jags and Kansas City Chiefs, there was a lot of drama on the field, with Foles out in the first 10 minutes due to a broken collarbone and Myles Jack thrown out of the game after a heated scuffle. Fans felt the heat in the stands, literally. The temperature on the field was above 120 degrees. JFRD was busy responding to 86 calls during Sunday's game, and 18 people ended up in the hospital. A viewer sent us these photos of paramedics helping people suffering from the heat. We asked the Jags if they asked the NFL to play the game at a later time to avoid the heat. A spokesperson told us conversations with the league are confidential. I also asked if they're looking into modifying the stadium with a roof similar to the Miami Dolphins or allowing people to bring in more water. That question was not answered directly, but team spokesperson Tad Dickman did provide a statement that included how fans were able to access water and find relief from the heat. He also said in part, as in the past for early season games, precautions were taken to help fans be prepared for the heat. Some fans hope they'll be allowed to bring in more water, while others say people should think about hydrating more.
We live in Florida. You're supposed to be ready for that.
Bridget Matters, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
Action News Jax wants to know what you think should be done about the intense heat at games. This is a live poll right now, the results from your voting, and right now looks like 50% of you want to see a floating shade device installed on the stadium. 29% of you want to see a full-on closed roof. To share your thoughts, go to actionnewsjax.com/vote.
Jaguars starting quarterback Nick Foles won't see the field for at least another 2 months. The team put the Super Bowl champion on injured reserve after surgery for a broken collarbone. Foles will be able to return in Week 11 if he's healthy. Now, he was hurt on a first touchdown completion as a Jaguar. Foles also broke his collarbone back in 2014 as an Eagle and missed the last 8 games of that season. Action News Jax, your official Jaguar station, and we're breaking down the team's first game with our special guest, Jags wide receiver Chris Conley. Tune in to Jags Report live tonight at 7 on CBS 47, and they're live from Top Golf.
Action News Jax First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Bursch. It is a September sizzle, a heat wave of sorts, kind of late summer. Well, we'll get a little bit of relief over the next few days, and when we get some much needed rain in the First Alert forecast.
Coming up, 2 stories you still haven't seen on Action News Jax. First, a local church's shocking decision to sell most of its property. What this could mean for downtown development. Then, a warning from JEA. The threats scammers are making that could trick you into paying up. More local stories straight ahead. Next on Action News Jax.
Now we want to get you back to a live look at the rescue mission underway on the Golden Ray cargo ship right off St. Simon's Island. Tonight, just one crew member remains trapped on board. The other 3 were rescued today, one within the last 2 hours. And we know the final person is behind glass in an engineering control room. We're told they're pretty difficult to reach. But stay with Action News Jax as we continue to follow this rescue live from Sky Action News Jax and on the ground. A local college student tells Action News Jax that she watched the images coming from the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian, fearing for her family's safety. Christia Clark grew up in Nassau and is now a student at UNF. As Action News Jax, Ryan Nelson reports she's overwhelmed by the generosity of strangers trying to help the island recover.
She's hundreds of miles from home, but that doesn't mean she isn't watching the aftermath closely.
The catastrophe led me to think, like, it could have been me.
Christia Clark is a student at the University of North Florida. She was born and raised in Nassau, Bahamas. Clark recounted what it was like not knowing how her family was doing during Dorian.
When the power came back on and everything started to settle down, it was fine. I was able to reach them and they affirmed that they were okay. I saw the videos, they were swarming the internet, all on WhatsApp and social media.
On Saturday, I joined local pilots on a supply flight to Great Abaco, delivering your supplies collected in Jacksonville. Landing, we saw trees snapped in half, buildings destroyed, and people standing in long lines in the sun waiting for a chance to leave Great Abaco. Clark tells me she has a relative there.
A close relative of mine does have a sister who was there, and she lost everything.
And she's encouraged by the world coming together to help the Bahamas.
It's great to see, like, the U.S., we see you guys had a major role in helping us out, and other islands and countries from abroad shipping in things. It's great to see everyone come together to make a big difference.
Ryan Nelson, CBS47, Action News Jax.
Action News Jax is teaming up with our news partners 104.5 WOKV for a joint Bahamas relief effort. That convoy of care will be set up tomorrow at the roundabout near Maggiano's at the town center until 2 p.m. We start at 7 a.m. Now, we're only collecting the supplies you see here on the screen: water, baby supplies, hygiene products, flashlights, batteries, and pet food.
Tonight, Duval County Public Schools will make a decision on suspending 3 school employees, including a former assistant principal. In December, we told you when Jamal Collins was arrested for grand theft, police say he kept money from a donation that was supposed to be for the school. Collins allegedly used the money to pay bills. His recommended suspension is 5 days. The St. Augustine Beach Pier is back open again following Hurricane Dorian. Action News Jax told you last week when the pier was closed because of suspected damage from the storm. The pier reopened this weekend once an engineer learned it was safe to use.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Well, our sizzling September continues. Today was the 5th day in a row way above average temperatures and close to records. Yesterday officially 97 degrees, just missed the record high of 98 degrees. Today so far we've been to at least 95 and just missing the record of 97 degrees. We did, by the way, set a new record high on Saturday. Temperatures ought to be in the upper 80s this time of year. It ought to be hot, but not this hot as we continue a streak of way above average days. Even the beaches managed to get to 90 today for a while, but in the mid to upper 80s now. The more inland you go, the hotter it is, of course. Keystone Heights at 97 right now. Waycross and McClenny at 96 degrees. Fly Sweep First Alert Doppler HD. While all is quiet in the immediate area, there are some showers and thunderstorms well up here to the north, and you'll even see that little green line dropping into west of Waycross. Well, that's cooler air getting pushed out by the thunderstorms, so there's some chance that we'll get a thunderstorm to fire up over inland portions, in particular of southeastern Georgia. Here are the storms right now, and they're pretty active and they're pretty heavy, but they're moving very slowly to the south and east, so there's not likely to be much into inland southeast Georgia, but that cooler air getting pushed out by these storms may trigger an isolated shower or storm in what otherwise is a pretty dry weather pattern. Pretty shot here, though, from Jax Beach. First Alert Skycam Network skies are mostly clear. Temperature even at the beaches, though, still at around 90 degrees with an easterly breeze at around 10 miles per hour. But that east wind is going to pick up over the next few days, so that will increase the rip current risk at our beaches. and it's also going to mean finally the air temperature coming down a little bit, at least during the day. Hour by hour this evening, we're near 90 degrees, dropping by 10 p.m. into the upper 70s under a fair to partly cloudy sky, just that isolated storm for some inland portions of southeastern Georgia. So we'll start out tomorrow morning in the 70s, still plenty warm and humid at night. Where we're going to notice the lower temperatures will be in the afternoon. We're in the upper 80s at noon tomorrow, and generally in the mid to upper 80s, with still a few inland spots managing to crack 90 degrees tomorrow, but it's not as hot. And every once in a while, an isolated shower comes in off the Atlantic. But for the most part, we stay dry right on through tomorrow, and in fact, right on into Wednesday. Notice a little bit more green again, so an isolated to widely scattered shower or storm, but I don't see widespread rain for a while yet. The showers and storms start to pick up some by Thursday, and then particularly by Friday through your weekend, which is always in view in the first alert 7-day forecast, and then it looks a little bit wetter. Highs will still be in the mid to upper 80s, warm but not as hot, but low to mid 70s, muggy overnight temperatures. All of your full first alert forecast is always available. Download for free the First Alert weather app, and in 30 minutes an update on the tropics.
New on Action News Jax at 5:30, a warning from the FDA about teen vaping, the ultimatum given following 5 e-cigarette deaths.
Plus, looking for love on Facebook. Next at 5, how the app is trying to become the next online dating platform. And we are keeping an eye on the rescue attempt of the Golden Ray crew. One last crew member still stuck inside the capsized cargo ship at St. Simon's Island. We'll keep it right here. We'll keep you posted.
All new coming up at 5:30. A local church shocks community members. The reason they're downsizing and what this could mean for downtown development. Coming up at 5:30 on CBS47 Action News Jax. Local coverage you can count on.
Are you looking for love online? Facebook wants to help with that. It is using an algorithm to find you the perfect match. Action News Jax' Leticia Barriola shows you how.
Facebook is looking to make some love connections. It debuted a makeover for its main app last week and said the company is making a major shift in how it's run. CEO Mark Zuckerberg kicked off the company's two-day developer conference with a keynote address in front of about 5,000 attendees in San Jose, California. And it all revolved around his desire to make Facebook privacy-centric. But he also rolled out Facebook Dating, a new feature first announced a couple years ago. Now Facebook Dating is launching in more places, including the U.S. by the end of the year. It's supposed to help allow Facebook users to date people in their extended networks. A new feature called Secret Crush will encourage dating among friends, allowing you to secretly flag which friend gives you all the feels, I guess you could say. If they flag you too, the app will alert you that the feeling is mutual. In the studio, Letitia Barriola, CBS47 Action News Jax.
New at 5:30. Once the final crew member is rescued, the attention will turn to fuel leaking from a cargo ship into the ocean, the contaminants from a ship, and 4,200 cars that may be putting the local ecosystem in danger. Plus, a massive church is going from 1.5 million square feet to less than 200,000. The 9 blocks of downtown Jacksonville now up for sale. Plus, one final voyage, the unique way a man's family sent him off on a final adventure.
A live look right now at the Golden Ray cargo ship. This is Sky Action News Jax over a team of rescuers still working off St. Simon's Island to rescue a 4th crew member who is stuck behind a glass control panel wall in the engineer room there and the below deck in the hull. The ship tipped over early Sunday morning, and since then 23 crew members have been taken to safety and they are working to get the last one out. Keep it right here on Action News Jackson. We are waiting, and we will have that for you as soon as it happens.
And about 2 hours ago, Sky Action News Jackson was the only news helicopter overhead as that third crew member was taken out of the ship on a stretcher and then moved there to a rescue boat. Moments later, this happened. The Coast Guard shared a video of the crews unloading that stretcher with that third crew member to land as they then walked the stretcher up the walkway into a waiting ambulance. Now, while the Coast Guard works to rescue that final crew member, another concern is the potential impact the ship could have on our local environment.
Action News Jack's Elizabeth Pace continues our team coverage with what crews are doing to keep anything inside that ship from spilling into the water.
The Golden Ray cargo ship has now been capsized in the water for nearly 40 hours, all while leaking fuel. While neighbors celebrate the rescue of crew members, some are now asking how this will affect the ecosystem.
The whole seafood industry is at risk if fuel comes out of there. There's a slowdown of all the ships coming in. They can't really get through until the passageways are cleared.
Along with the 24 people on the ship, it was also carrying 4,200 cars. The Ultima Riverkeeper told me crews did find a fuel leak in the water.
It's looking like it's actually not coming from the actual fuel from the ship, and so it's potentially coming maybe around an engine or potentially cars, but it's thicker, so it's usually a ship type of an oil than more of a car oil.
Crews say that they placed a boom in the water. Now, it's a little further out, and you can't really see it that well from here, but there is a break in the water. They say this boom will help contain any leaking fuels. Out here, you have the island, nurseries, marshes, and the mainland. Fishing is a driving business of the local economy. And since this ship could be out here for weeks, if not months, Inman says they're working with the Coast Guard to protect the wildlife.
It could be devastating to our community, our economics. So just if our port shuts down, it's going to hurt this community majorly. But then if it also shuts down our fishing industry, we're in a big world of hurt.
Until the water is tested and deemed safe, the Coastal Health District issued a swimming advisory for St. Simons and Jekyll Island beaches. Reporting in St. Simons Island, Elizabeth Pace, CBS47, Action News Jax.
And download the Action News Jax news app right now to get the first alert on the ongoing rescue effort for that final crew member. You can also find a photo gallery of rescue pictures and see video from Sky Action News Jax. The First Baptist Church in downtown is consolidating its massive campus from 1.5 million square feet to 182,000 square feet. 9 blocks of property are now on the market, and the church is hoping to sell to 1 or 2 buyers. Action News Jax Bridget Matter joins us live from downtown. Bridget, you sat down with the pastor today who says there are already some interested buyers. Prime real estate.
And John, he wouldn't go into detail about who's inquiring about this massive piece of property that just opened up in downtown Jacksonville. This is a portion that will be saved. It's 1 block on Ashley Street, while the other 9 will be open and for sale. The First Baptist Church in downtown Jacksonville has been around for 181 years. Its sprawling campus expands 10 blocks, 1.5 million square feet of property, soon to be consolidated into 182,000 square feet.
This sprawling, enormous complex downtown is just too expensive to maintain, and it's unnecessary.
Senior Pastor Heath Lambert says the church would need to spend millions just to maintain the campus over the next 5 years. They're already spending $5 million per year on maintaining the property.
Spending $72 million on buildings makes us a property management organization, not a church.
The historic church building and the block it sits on Ashley Street will be kept and undergo a $30 million renovation. Lambert says with a steady decline of church attendance in the last 20 years, the need for 10 blocks is unnecessary. This means 9 blocks are now up for sale and will contribute to downtown Jacksonville growth. First Baptist plans to add churches in other areas of Jacksonville in hopes of increasing attendance. The renovation for the historic church building is expected to take between 18 and 24 months to complete. The start date on that has not been announced. In downtown Jacksonville, Bridget Matter, CBS47 Action News Jax.
JEA is warning customers about a scam. The utility company says that scammers are claiming to be JEA and threatening to disconnect customer service if they don't make a payment with a gift card. JEA says it will never demand payment over the phone.
A U.S. senator is telling the head of the FDA to regulate e-cigarettes or step down. The CDC reports there have been 450 possible cases of vaping-related illnesses that include 5 deaths. Today, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin slammed the FDA leadership for what he called a lack of oversight. He gave the acting commissioner 10 days to do more to stop kids from vaping or resign.
1 out of 5 children in high school today are using vaping and e-cigarettes. 1 out of 5, 20%, 3% of adults. This is a kid's toy. Make no mistake about it.
The FDA warned e-cigarette maker Jewell about illegally marketing its nicotine pods as less harmful than cigarettes. The agency also warned the company about marketing tobacco products to kids.
In Bradford County, 2 people are being praised as heroes tonight for pulling a driver who crashed into a pond out of the water. This is a picture posted by Bradford County deputies. You can see there the car sitting at the bottom of that pond. You see the roof there, the roof rack. On Saturday, deputies say 2 drivers who saw the crash dove into the water moments after it happened. The driver was treated for his injuries and is expected to survive.
Covering Putnam County now, Buffalo Bluff Road in Satsuma will close tomorrow at noon. The road closed a little more than an hour ago. Deputies will be on the site in the morning during the school bus pickup hours and drop-off times to escort the children to safety. And I meant to say it just closed an hour ago. It will reopen at noon. 2 Democrats from Massachusetts are leading the charge in research efforts for mosquito-borne illness. 2 new cases of the Eastern equine encephalitis were recorded in the state in the last week. That brings the total number to more than 150. Action News Jax told you in July the virus was detected in Florida. Florida has the most cases in the country. Massachusetts, it's second.
New at 5:30, it's great to be a Florida Gator. According to the new school rankings from U.S. News and World Report, UF was ranked the top school in the state, number 34 overall. Florida State came in 57th on the list and second best in the state. UNF ranked as the 12th best in the state and number 281 on the list. Governor Ron DeSantis unveiled the list at some of the top schools today.
It really is just the talent, and when they see universities like this that are ascending, that creates confidence that, you know what, if I move a bunch of jobs here, we're going to have good folks.
In mid-May, Florida held the number 1 spot in the report. It was the 3rd year in a row that the state's higher education system was named the best in the nation.
500 local students have a new pair of shoes thanks to a donation. Earlier today, volunteers helped to pass out the new shoes to students at St. Clair Evans Academy in the Moncrief community. One volunteer tells Action News Jax it's more than shoes they gave kids today. It's about hope.
That message of hope is really simple. Dream big dreams. Education is the key, and never, ever give up.
And students also got new socks. Volunteers say that some of the students had shoes that were 3 sizes too small.
Tonight at 6, a sweet surprise.
Free hot dogs! Free hot dogs!
Yeah, the selfless act that brought Disney to this Jacksonville boy's doorstep. And a Florida man is traveling across the Gulf for the final time. The unique way his family sent him off on a final adventure.
Plus, Congress is back to work following recent mass shootings. Next at 5:30, the requirement being pushed to keep guns away from future shooters.
It's time for Rev It Up, powered by Adamek Harley-Davidson. Get out and ride. It's time for Rev It Up, powered by Adamek Harley-Davidson. Get out and ride.
It is the first day back for Congress after the August recess, and at the top of the agenda is gun control following recent mass shootings. New at 5:30, Action News Jack's Bafta Yaman reports from our Washington, D.C. bureau with the new push for stricter background checks.
Senate Republicans say they're waiting on the president to signal what measures he will support. And right now, that's up in the air.
The Medal of Valor is presented to the following individuals.
President Trump honored the 6 Dayton officers who were on patrol after a gunman opened fire last month. The officers swiftly responded and Monday received the nation's highest public safety award, alongside 5 civilians who were also honored after their heroic actions in the Walmart shooting in El Paso.
These incredible patriots responded to the worst violence and most barbaric hatred with the best of American courage, character, and strength.
I'm really proud of our officers, and they completely deserve a medal, but I think the best gift we could give them and the best award we could give them is to get these terrible guns off the streets so they don't have to fight them.
During a news conference Monday, Democratic leaders pushed for Senate Republicans to vote on the Universal Background Checks Act. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he won't bring any legislation to the floor without President Trump signing off first.
Americans are suffering from the abundance of gun violence in America. Last month, mass shootings claimed 51 lives in El Paso, Dayton, and Odessa.
We are talking about a lot of different things, but at the same time, we have to protect our Second Amendment very strongly.
House Democrats are working on several other gun control bills this week. Republicans are pushing so-called red flag laws that would allow police to temporarily take away guns from someone judged to pose a threat. In Washington, Bafta Imam, CBS47, Action News Jax.
I'm Action News Jax. First alert, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We have Tropical Storm Gabrielle out over the North Atlantic. I'll show you what else is out there over the tropics in the coming days in the first alert forecast in minutes.
Ahead at 6, the Jags sign another quarterback. We're taking a look at what newcomer Josh Dobbs can bring to the team in the future and what he's done off the field in the past.
And you might be wearing the wrong shades. Coming up new at 5:30, the 4 negative effects it can have on your health and how to make sure you buy the right pair.
And we are keeping an eye on rescue efforts at the Golden Ray in St. Simons Island. This is exclusive video of them rescuing the third crew member stuck in this vessel. A fourth crew member still stuck below deck, and rescue efforts are underway to get him free. We are watching that situation closely. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we get it. Stay with Action News Jax as we follow that rescue. Sunglasses are not just a summer necessity. Doctors say they're important to wear all year round to protect against the sun's harmful rays.
And there are several things you should look out for to choose the right ones. Brittany Bronson never heads outdoors without her sunglasses, but admits she's not focused on eye safety.
I probably should look more at how they're going to protect me, but it's definitely more of a fashion statement, what they look like. Are they going to look good on my face?
It's basically like wearing sunscreen before your eyes.
Dr. Andrea Tooley is a spokesperson for the American Academy of Ophthalmology and says that sunglasses are important because of the sun's harmful rays that can damage the eyes.
They can cause cataracts over time, skin cancer around our eyes and eyelids, and then also cancers on the surface of our eyes. They increase the risk of macular degeneration.
Dr. Tooley says it's vital to look at the label and choose sunglasses that offer 100% protection from UVA and UVB radiation. And darker lenses don't always mean you're getting more protection. Bigger sunglasses are better because they cover more of your eyes and the skin around them.
I need sunglasses that literally cover my eyes. Too small of sunglasses, and I'm seeing around the sides of them.
Dr. Tooley also says you don't have to spend a lot of money to get the protection you need.
Very expensive designer sunglasses might not offer the UV protection that you're looking for, and you can actually find 100% UV protection in cheap sunglasses that you pick up at a corner drugstore.
And those shades are not just important on sunny days, but on cloudy days as well, when damaging UV rays can still reach your eyes. And you can double check UV protection in your sunglasses at many optical shops with a UV light meter, and that can test how well your glasses can block the UV rays.
Some evacuees trying to escape hurricane devastation in the Bahamas were told to get off a ferry headed to the U.S. About 130 people got off that boat in Freeport Sunday. The ferry then headed for Fort Lauderdale. Customs and Border Protection says that it's supporting the humanitarian mission, and everyone who comes to the U.S. must have a valid ID and travel documents. Action News Jax is teaming up with our news partners, News 104.5 WOKV, for a joint Bahamas relief effort. The convoy of care will be set up tomorrow at the roundabout near Maggiano's in the town center from 7 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the afternoon tomorrow.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
And the weather will work out just fine tomorrow, by the way, for that convoy of care. And the Maggiano's drop-off spot, really easy. We'll take care of it for you. All those supplies, all you got to do is stop by. We'll take them out of your trunk, out of your car, whatever the case may be. And the temperatures won't be as hot tomorrow, finally, although it'll still be plenty warm. Today we hit 96 degrees officially. Just missed the record high. The average is 88, and we'll settle those temperatures down to a little bit closer to average over the next few days because the winds are going to finally start to come in off the Atlantic. 5-sweep first alert Doppler HD dry. Just not enough humidity to trigger showers and thunderstorms as we typically get this time of year when the sea breeze starts to move inland. So it's staying dry and will be through this evening. Now we do have some thunderstorms over well inland southeastern portions of Georgia. A couple little cells have popped over northern Ware County to the north of Waycross, and then a heavier storm northwest of Brunswick by quite a ways here, about 44 miles to the northwest of St. Simons Island. I point that out because, of course, we continue to see the ongoing rescue there of the cargo ship. And the storm, though intense, will only be slowly dropping southward and should not be able to make it all the way to either Brunswick or St. Simons Island this evening, something, though, obviously we'll keep a close eye on. Otherwise, there's plenty of sunshine. First Alert Skycam Network from St. Augustine showing just a few high thin clouds. Wind off the Atlantic helping out. East-southeast wind. You see the flag blowing there. 87 degrees right now versus inland spots that are still generally 90 or hotter. So not as hot as we go through this rest of this week. Still hitting 90 tomorrow. That's a bit above average, but not as hot as it's been. And then mid to upper 80s the rest of the week here and right into the beginning of your weekend, which is just a tad bit below average, largely because of an onshore wind and then cooler temperatures during the day. At night, it will still be plenty humid, and gradually it gets wetter. Only isolated showers or storms through Thursday, but by Friday, we start to see a little tropical wave move across Florida, and that should enhance our showers and thunderstorms. It won't be raining constantly, and this probably looks a little overdone compared to what reality will be, but everybody should manage at least a little bit of rain during that 3-day period from Friday into the weekend, and many inland spots in particular have turned especially dry now. So that tropical wave that affects us this weekend right now is just east of the Bahamas and will then work its way toward Florida, but will increase the showers and the thunderstorms a little bit late in the week. Over the northern Atlantic, it's Gabrielle, which will continue to move out over the open water, no problem there. And then a couple of waves to track that are moving off the coast of Africa. I understand there's some breaking news now with the cargo ship. Let's get to the news desk.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Let's go live on Sky Action News Jax as they have pulled out, or in the process of pulling out. Looks like they have pulled out the 4th crew member from inside the Golden Ray. You're looking at the tugboat there that has been pushed up against the hull of the boat, of the ship, all day long. I'm trying to just see if we can see the crew member
I can
on
see
that.
him.
Can you see him?
He's not, it doesn't appear that he's completely clothed, and he's sitting down, and it looks like they were trying to wrap him up. But the 4th person rescued from that ship, which is remarkable because the other 3 were rescued by 3:30 this afternoon, and to get the 4th out, and they said he was at least another deck down. Incredible work by all of the crews working together on this for 2 days.
We're working to get Sky Action News Jax the signal back up for you, so we are going to go to break. All right, we'll work to get that back up for you. Remarkable effort, all 4 safe. We'll be right back with more on that.
Coming up, more local coverage you can count on. First, tracking down trouble in St. Johns County. Action News Jax investigates the recent police car chases are on the rise and how local neighbors can stay safe. Then, a cargo ship overturns, trapping 4 crew members inside. The latest on the rescue of the last survivor and the investigation into how it overturned. Local stories that matter to you. Next on Action News Jax.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
And just moments ago, we told you breaking news that final crew member rescued from that capsized ship, the Golden Ray, right off of the port right there in St. Simon's Island. Let's get out to Ben Becker, who's been there following this miraculous rescue.
Tanika, I have a view also from where I'm standing here. Take a look right across the water and the back of the boat. Okay, so you go towards the back and you see the tugboat there. Then behind that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is the smaller boat where the fourth and final member of this crew is currently located. Now, Tanika, do you have another view on it from Sky Action News Jax from where you are? You can tell me if you have a better look from your vantage point.
Yeah, there's a ship, small ship right next to another boat that we saw them surrounding the man on, and he was partially clothed, and it looked like they were working to try to get him covered up and wrapped up.
Right, so you have that on the back end, and then on the front end of the ship you see another tugboat there. So there you see the coordinated effort that's going on. And you may be wondering also what's going to happen now once this is all clear and done with. According to a local maritime expert I was speaking with earlier today, he told me that it's going to take not one but 250-ton cranes to get this boat straightened up at some point. And we're not talking about hours, we're not talking about days, we're talking about weeks, maybe months before this boat is up and moved out of St. Simon's Island. So that's the situation there. But meantime, the situation right now, presently, is the fourth and final member of this crew apparently has been rescued from this ship. Back to you in the studio.
And let's take a look now, our live video from Sky Action News. Jackson, we can go back to that where we were showing the rescue. He's highlighted there. You can see that he has on straps that I'm assuming they used to pull him up because, again, the ship is on its side. So it's like scaling down a mountain, scaling down a building. And you can see we've highlighted him here. And if you see the white object there along the edge of the boat where it says Dorothy, he's sitting right in front of that, kind of just crouched over there, patting his back and talking to him. The fourth person, and John, we were telling you earlier, the Coast Guard said that he was the toughest one to get to because he was about a deck further down than the other three who were together.
Also behind a glass panel. He was in what they called the engineering control room for that, presumably for that area, for the engine room. But this is video from just a few minutes ago. You're going to only see it right here on Action News Jax because we had Sky Action News Jax over the scene here as they brought that man safely out of the ship, and that's the moment right there. He's hugging somebody there, and it's
they
just
are relieved.
Imagine 35 hours plus stuck in the dark, stale area. It's scary stuff.
We're glad that he's out. Again, all four rescued and accounted for. Our live team coverage of the rescues from this capsized ship will continue right now.
Live. CBS47 Fox 30 Action News Jax at 6 begins with breaking news.
Again, only Sky Action News Jax captured this video moments ago of the fourth and final trapped crew member being rescued from the capsized ship there in St. Simon's Island. See the man, no shirt, being attended to by rescuers right as he was giving an embrace to someone there. A live look now from Sky Action News Jax. Again, that was from just a few minutes ago. All right, we're working to get the live shot for you, but the last crew member, again, on the Coast Guard, will be brought back to shore. There is a live look at the tugboat, and the rescuers there still on the hull of that capsized ship on its side right there. They were the first crew members, the first three that were trapped were rescued about 2 hours ago. We have some new photos from the Coast Guard, which shows two of the rescued crew members moments after they were brought to safety, and you can see the big smile on one of their faces right there. Action News Jax has confirmed at least two of them were taken to Southeast Georgia Health's Brunswick campus. While we were there, an ambulance pulled up with its lights on. Sky Action News Jax was the only news helicopter in the air capturing this exclusive video of, again, the rescues there as people watched from the pier as well.
See stuff on the movies and, other places, but in the local area, it's unheard of.
As of right now, the Golden Ray has been on its side for more than 40 hours, and we know the man who was stuck behind that glass did not have access to food or water for that entire time. very happy to be out and free. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. I tell you, our hearts are so full to get this good news. And let's get you caught up now on the very latest. 24 people were on that ship when it capsized. 4 were trapped until today at about 3:30. And again, as John just said, that's when the first 3 were rescued by the Coast Guard. And we know that the 4th man, who was trapped about 1 deck past the others in an engineering control room, they got to him, as you saw, about 5 minutes ago. Coast Guard members had to cut a hole in the bottom of the boat that was about 2 feet by 3 feet, but they could only do it in 3-inch increments. And here's a map to show you where the ship is right now, not too far off the shore, and our crew taking a look at where that ship is in the water, and they have a clear shot of it from the St. Simon's Pier, where a lot of people have gathered just to watch this whole thing. This is a main channel from the Brunswick port to the ocean, and right now that capsized ship is preventing other ships from leaving and entering.
Yeah, big economic impact here. We have had team coverage on the ground in St. Simon's since early Sunday morning. We continue tonight live with Christy Turner at the hospital.
And it's remarkable, the outcome of this incident. I mean, it's just really incredible that all 4 have been rescued. We are at this hospital here in Brunswick. We anticipate the 4th crew member to arrive at this hospital any moment. We've confirmed at least 2 of the crew members are getting checked out here at Southeast Georgia Health Center. I want to show you this incredible video from earlier. Sky Action News Jax was over the cargo ship as the rescues were unfolding this afternoon. You can see one of the crew members strapped to a stretcher, slowly being lowered on a rope to a rescue boat. 3 were trapped for roughly 34 hours. The 4th was rescued within the last hour. He was trapped behind glass in a control room in the stern, which is the back of the vessel. It was a tricky rescue for the Coast Guard. They brought in technical specialists from around the world to help in this rescue operation.
I heard the news this morning that we had tapbacks throughout the night. I think that really motivated the team here. Knowing that the people were alive made all the difference, and knowing where to go on a ship that's 600+ feet big, where to go was an outstanding job by the engineers last night and the salvage team.
And what a wonderful ending. The crew members must be so grateful tonight. One of the rescued crew members had the biggest smile on his face when he was pulled to safety. We will continue to stay out here at the hospital as we anticipate that 4th crew member to be brought here. Reporting live in Brunswick, Christy Turner, CBS47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
And the live look down from Sky Action News Jax as we follow the rescue boat now taking that 4th crew member to land, where from there he will head to the hospital like the other 3. And another note, looking at some video from the Coast Guard, the moment they pulled him out, everyone on the scene started clapping, so excited to make this rescue. And again, this live look from Sky Action News Jax as we follow the U.S. Coast Guard boat just barreling through the water there to get that man to shore so that he can be taken to the hospital. Christy Turner was just there at the hospital where the other crew members were taken. We know that he's been without food and water. We're not so sure of the quality of the air he had access to in the area he was for more than 30 hours. Plus, the heat. 120 degrees on the outside of that ship there, so they were estimating it was a lot hotter inside, but thankfully the 4th and final crew member off that ship, and you're looking live as that Coast Guard boat rushes him to get the medical attention that he needs. But a very good ending considering the massive project out there they had to go through, and to get him out in that relatively short amount of time. Want to get to some new video now, just into the Action News Jax newsroom. Let's go back to it. Here's some video from the Coast Guard that I just mentioned. If you see them clapping there, it's that 4th and final crew member was pulled out, standing on his own. You can see they had strapped him in so they could pull him up to the top surface. They cut a hole there in the hull of the ship, and they were able to pull him out.
Everybody's clapping, like you said. Fantastic moment for everybody who worked for 40 hours to make that happen. Moments ago, a fisherman told Action News Jax he was fishing on the pier when the boat capsized. He described hearing a loud noise, but had no idea what happened.
All we heard was a big old boom, a bang or something like that, and then it flipped over and the lights went out.
So you heard a bang?
That's all we could see.
It happened at night, overnight. The first calls for help went out to the Coast Guard just before 2 a.m. Sunday morning.
And our crews have been on the scene since those first calls for help were made. And one of those reporters is Danny Bozzini. She's been watching the rescue efforts alongside the neighbors who say they have never seen anything like this. And I know they're thrilled to hear the good news, Danny.
About any cargo ship restrictions? Yeah, we've been out here since yesterday morning when the U.S. Coast Guard first began this risky rescue mission. It's a sight that's definitely captured the attention of dozens, if not hundreds of people out here to watch as the rescue efforts unfold. The St. Simons Island Pier drew quite the crowd as the U.S. Coast Guard began the rescue efforts yesterday morning.
You see stuff on the movies and, other places, but in the local area, it's unheard of. But it happened, and I just thank God that everybody's okay.
Everyone has been hoping and praying for the four trapped in the hull of the ship, and finally their prayers have been answered.
Wonderful to know that they're safe.
This is exclusive footage from Sky Action News Jax pulling one of the four survivors out to safety. A heroic yet scary rescue mission that everyone watching is grateful turned out all right. And with all four crew members now officially rescued, it's definitely the happy ending everyone has been waiting for here at the pier. And I just learned that Sky Action News Jax has footage right now of that fourth and final crew member being taken out from the boat. They were just rescued out from the ship and taken somewhere else. If we can get that chopper footage up right now, and that's a live look at that. And we'll continue to follow this fourth and final crew member that has just been rescued. Live in St. Simons Island, Danny Bozzini, CBS47, FOX30, Action News Jax.
Yeah, you're looking live there at the Coast Guard cutter there, Coast Guard ship rather, taking the crew member to shore. Continued to hustle that and get that person to the hospital, get checked out. Well, tonight Action News Jax is investigating what led to the Golden Ray capsizing in the St. Simons Sound and the ship's safety. Action News Jax investigator Ben Becker is live at the pier now. Ben, you've been going through the ship's inspection reports.
And also, as well as everyone else, I'm monitoring the situation with that fourth and final crew member. We have a live picture from Sky Action News Jax as that crew member, again, is being taken to shore to a local hospital to get treatment, along with those three other crew members who went to the hospital earlier today. Now, those crew members were rescued about, I'd say, 2 hours ago or so. And this final fourth crew member was rescued at about 5:55 when Action News Jax first told you about it. Again, appearing to be in good spirits at this time, but we won't know for sure the extent of any injuries until he goes to the hospital and we get a report from the hospital at some point this evening. Now, meantime, the Coast Guard tweeted out in the past 10 minutes that operations are shifting to environmental protection. That's what they're going to do right now that all four crew members are off this ship. As for this ship, it went into service in 2017, and there's some questions as to how safe it may be considering what happened and what led to this, or what you're looking at behind me, the ship being on its side. A local maritime expert tells me those crew members likely didn't eat or have water for days. The Golden Ray sits on the shimmering and shining waters of the St. Simons Sound as it held precious cargo besides vehicles. Sky Action News Jax showed you crew members being rescued after being trapped for more than 30 hours.
It's filled with fumes from diesel fuel, from lubricating oil.
Rod Sullivan is a maritime expert. He's describing what the crew members experienced in the dark hull of this ship. The Coast Guard was notified about the capsized vessel by a 911 call at about 2 a.m. Sunday.
My belief is that they were in the engine room trying to shift ballast and to shift fuel at the time that the vessel was listing over to one side, and they just couldn't get out.
Action News Jax looked up the inspection reports for the Golden Ray. The ship received safety management certificates in May and July of 2018. It also received a cargo ship safety equipment certificate in December of 2017 and other safety certificates as well. The Coast Guard drilled holes into the hull to safely rescue the men. Sullivan said there weren't many options.
There's no vertical way to get up there. You need somebody to come in, lower you ladders, lower you lines, Stokes baskets, whatever it takes to lift you up to the deck level and free you.
And they were able to get that man out, the final four of the people inside the boat, the four of the crew members, all four dropping ladders in there and able to get them out. Meantime, now some of the things also that we've been telling you about this, it could take not one but 250-ton cranes to get this ship upright and out of the St. Simon Sound. That could be something that's going to take weeks, if not months. Again, that's something, of course, that we're going to be monitoring in the ensuing days and weeks. Reporting live from St. Simon's Island, Ben Becker, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Now that that fourth crew member is out, the removal process can begin. We will, of course, keep you posted on that on air right here and on actionnewsjax.com.
Police say a teenager is dead following a shooting overnight in Moncrief. It happened on Old Moncrief Road. It's the latest of 7 shootings reported in Jacksonville in a week. Action News Jax Ryan Nelson joins us live from the Callaway Cove Apartments on the west side. And Ryan, police found the man in a home suffering from a gunshot wound.
And Tanika, neighbors tell me it all happened here at the Callaway Cove Apartments. Today you can see the security guard posted at the entrance. We're standing as close as we can to the entrance. And in speaking to many across Jacksonville, some say that more needs to be done to prevent violence. Sadly, others say it's something they've just learned to live with. A man in his late 20s is dead after being shot off Moncrief Road early Monday morning. Neighbors tell me it happened here at the Callaway Cove Apartments, formerly known as Washington Heights. Today we spotted the security guard posted at the entrance.
Well, I think it's awful, really, with the violence that's going on. I really wish it could just stop.
A woman who asked not to be identified tells me peace of mind is hard to find here.
I mean, safety in the community is the most important thing, and right now it doesn't seem to be too safe.
Action News Jax told you Saturday when a child was shot in the back twice in the Townsend Apartments in Arlington. He's expected to survive.
I just came outside and the police had the road blocked off.
A man who asked only to be called JoJo lives in the complex and wasn't concerned by the violence.
That's just how they was raised, so some kids got to protect themselves.
On Sunday, a young adult man was shot on Kalima. A teen was shot on Tula Drive on September 5th, and 4 people were shot in Vermilion last Wednesday, including a child. All are expected to survive. Neighbors say they'd like to see everyone working together to find a solution.
More police presence, and the community itself as a whole needs to work on it.
And at last check, there had been 90 murders in Jacksonville. We're reaching out to Jaso asking how this incident will be classified. Reporting on the west side, Ryan Nelson, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
I'm Action News Jax. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Goodbye to Dorian, but a check of the rest of the traffic and what's going on in a few minutes.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
Tonight, this man is in jail accused in one of the latest in a string of car chases in St. Johns County. In fact, in the past 2 years alone, deputies say they've chased down 29 people. As Action News Jack's Amber Kriska reports, as this number goes up, a lot of them are wrong-way crashes.
Just about ran us off the road.
That was a driver calling for help back in February when someone was driving on the wrong side of the road. The scary part, deputies say it's happening more and more in St. Johns County.
Today we're seeing a trend where many of these individuals, the minute we turn blue lights on them, they will cross the interstate, they'll cross the median strips and drive head-on into traffic as a means to escape.
Chuck Mulligan, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office, says the number of chases is going up in the county.
A lot of the folks that we are encountering are coming from out of state, out of county.
From 2014 to 2017, there were 29 chases. And 2018 and so far this year, there have been 27. That's almost as many as the previous 4 years.
It's dangerous.
It's real scary.
In February, deputies say this pair decided to drive on the wrong side of the road and hit another car head-on. It was all over a stolen purse. In August, a wild chase shut down part of 95 after a man covered in blood took off from deputies. Investigators say he was in a stolen undercover unmarked deputy's SUV.
The most recent pursuit deputies say happened in this Walmart parking lot over the weekend. Investigators say the suspect drove at a deputy at a high rate of speed, and the deputy had to jump out of the way to avoid getting hit.
Deputies say Joshua Ratliff took off down US 1 South in a stolen car. If they are putting innocent people's lives on the line,
we've got to stop that individual.
Mulligan says they will go after them. Reporting in St. Johns County, Amber Kriska, CBS 47 Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Live look from Sky Action News Jax, where that fourth crew member was just loaded into the back of this ambulance to be taken to the hospital. And we followed that Coast Guard boat as it took that fourth crew member to shore. But now on the back of the ambulance you see parked there, preparing to be taken to the hospital to be examined, where the other 3 crew members are. And hopefully they will all get a good report after surviving some incredible conditions. We'll continue to keep you posted on this rescue. But again, if you're just tuning in, all 4 of the crew members that were on that capsized cargo ship are rescued and safe.
Action News Jax, your official stations for the Jaguars, and this weekend, not a great start for the Jags. Coach Doug Marrone just announced a few hours ago in his news conference that Nick Foles is on injured reserve with a broken left collarbone. QB went through surgery today. That means he is out until at least week 11, according to NFL rules. Gardner Minshew, the stash, is officially the backup, and he is in now and starting. But today, the club made a trade to get extra security under center. The Jags gave up a 5th-round pick in 2020 for Steelers backup Joshua Dobbs, a second-year player who has not had an official NFL start. Getting to know Dobbs a little better, he was taken in the 4th round in 2017 out of Tennessee. In college, he put up good enough numbers to earn a starting spot in the NCAA Senior Bowl. And get this, Josh graduated from Tennessee with a degree in aerospace engineering with a 4.0 GPA. Wow. So far in the NFL, he has been a backup, but has gone 6 for 12 in a few appearances with 1 interception. All right, we have a live look right now at Top Golf, where they are waiting for the crowd to come on out. So we hope you'll do that. Every Monday in football season, you can join Brent and Dan at Top Golf starting tonight at 7 o'clock. And we'll have the show coming up for you on CBS 47. They'll recap Sunday's game live. It's after the CBS Evening News.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Well, hot, but no thunderstorms across the area this afternoon as we continue to have an unseasonably dry air mass. It could feel a lot worse out there, folks, if the humidity was even higher. But without that humidity, we aren't triggering showers and storms. We've gone really pretty dry, especially inland. The spots west of I-95 that didn't get in on a lot of rain with Dorian last week have now gone a while without getting much in the way of significant rainfall, and that won't be happening at least over the next couple of days, the heavier rains. There's one thunderstorm here sitting well to the northwest, about 30 to 35 miles northwest of Brunswick. It is drifting southward into O'Neill by 6:36 and Manningtown by 6:37. but it should dissipate soon, and there will not be much significant development into southeastern Georgia, certainly not into the metro area. Sea breeze pushing westbound now across the West Beltway at 295 all the way to just about Highway 301 now. So the air turns slightly cooler once you get behind that sea breeze to the east, in other words, with the wind off of the Atlantic. Orange Park, First Alert Skycam Network, upper left, Jack's Beach, upper right, Jekyll Island on the lower left-hand corner, our First Alert Live Skycam Network. Point this one out because that's not far. It's not the same. We're not looking at St. Simon's Island, but it's not far from St. Simon's Island in Georgia, where the rescues have been ongoing today with the cargo ship. And the waters have at least cooperated. Has not been rough seas and surf. And then downtown, Skycam Network showing a mostly clear sky with plenty of sun and a lot of heat. Temperatures will still be at around 90 degrees in about an hour's time, but slowly drop through the 80s into the upper 70s by 11 p.m. And we'll start out tomorrow morning mainly dry, but a persistent wind off the Atlantic will allow at least for an isolated shower or two during the day. It will be very hit and miss. Same thing on Wednesday. Tendency for that shower activity to be closer to the coast early in the morning, more inland in the afternoon, but it still looks pretty widely scattered overall. Tracking the tropics, we do have a wave over to the southeast of the Bahamas, a little north of Puerto Rico, that will move over and near the Bahamas and near Florida as we get into the end of the week and the weekend. It really just looks to be adding to our rainfall. It does not look like there'll be significant tropical development. Gabrielle over the North Atlantic's headed on out to open water. A couple of tropical waves to watch over the central and eastern Atlantic. We are at the peak of the hurricane season. Would not be at all surprised to see at least a couple of named storms over the next couple of weeks. But that first wave just brings some added rainfall for us Friday right into your weekend. Always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast. And not as hot, finally, thanks to winds off the Atlantic with highs in the 80s all the way into the weekend. ActionNewsJax.com. It's all of your latest First Alert weather. Check out my tweets at Mike First Alert and Facebook fan page.
Still to come at 6, asleep behind the wheel while these people in this car felt like they could get away with it going down a busy highway.
We continue to follow that breaking news. Great news. The fourth and final crew member on that capsized cargo ship was rescued, and they're inside of this ambulance you're looking at live now from Sky Action News Jax. This is Glenn EMS, and the other 3 crew members, we know, well, at least 2 of them were taken to the hospital there in Brunswick. So we expect this 4th man to be taken to the hospital to be checked out. Again, what a long time without food and water, more than 30-some hours without food or water, and also under some really strenuous hot conditions, potential for fumes and different things. But it looks like they're about to start moving any minute now. But again, a live look from Sky Action News Jax after their 4th rescue from the capsized ship.
A Massachusetts man says he was so floored by what he saw on the highway he had to document it. 2 people were found asleep on the road, including the driver. The car was one of the self-driving cars. There's no law in Massachusetts against falling asleep at the wheel of these cars, but the experts say no matter what, drivers should always be awake and alert inside the vehicles. We'll be back at 6:30 on Fox 30.
Fox 30 Action News Jax at 6:30 begins with breaking news.
All 4 crew members trapped on a capsized cargo ship near St. Simon's Island now safely on land. I'll look right there is exclusive video of the 4th crew member being rescued just within the last 30 minutes. Again, this is exclusive Sky Action News Jax video there. And there's a big hug as rescuers look him over, make sure he's okay. Again, highlighting the moment there as he is brought on board that tugboat there and greeted by the rescuers. A live look right now from Sky Action News Jax, and we just lost the signal. But that final member on his way to the hospital right now in an ambulance. We know that the man was trapped for nearly 30 hours with no food or water. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. Let's get you caught up with the latest now. Again, the 4th crew member safe. The Coast Guard now shifting operations to environmental protection and then removing the cargo ship so that business can resume. Remember, no boats in and out right now. A live look we have for you outside of the Southeast Georgia Health System in Brunswick, where 2 of the crew members are being treated. The hospital tells Action News Jax that they are stable.
Action News Jax Russell Colburn joins us live from a pier there near the cargo ship. And Russell, the Coast Guard says that the 4th survivor was stuck in an engineering control room.
And an expert we've been talking with says unlike some ships, there's really not a lot of space in there. So when you consider he was separated with glass, it was 100 degrees there, he had no food, water. We're talking about a very dire situation that was unfolding. You can see the ship right behind me, several hundred yards from the dock here, and we know that you're seeing the deck because the ship is on its side and all the action, the rescues were on the hull of the ship on the other side. So let's get you back to that new video of the 4th survivor being rescued from Sky Action News Jax. He emerges and hugs a crew member, clearly elated to be out of there after such an ordeal. Now moving forward, the Coast Guard said these crew members appear to be okay given the circumstances. Remember, that last man was in there with 100-degree temperatures and they weren't able to get him food or water. A local hospital did say the 2 men they've received are stable. So now as the Golden Ray sits capsized on the floor of the St. Simons Sound, the focus now shifts to what happened. A maritime expert tells Action News Jax he has a theory.
The only explanation I can come up for that is that the cargo inside the ship shifted. It wasn't properly lashed down.
And that's certainly something we'll be asking as this investigation plays out. Of course, Action News Jax is going to cover this for you every step of the way, including any environmental impacts from this. We'll be right back here at 10 and 11. We'll have continuing coverage. You can also follow me on Twitter at Russell A. and Jax. Live in St. Simons Island, Russell Colburn, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Just into the Action News Jax newsroom, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp responding to today's rescue efforts. In the last 10 minutes, he tweeted, "Words cannot express how relieved and grateful the First Lady and the girls and I are for this news. Many, many thanks to everyone involved in search and rescue. Georgia is proud of your hard work."
The local riverkeeper says it could take weeks or months to get the ship out of the water. The Golden Ray cargo ship has now been capsized for nearly 40 hours, all while leaking fuel. While neighbors celebrate the rescue of the crew members, some are now asking how this will impact our local ecosystem.
It could be devastating to our community, our economics. So just if our port shuts down, it's going to hurt this community majorly. But then if it also shuts down our fishing industry, we're in a big world of hurt.
Until the water is tested and deemed safe, the Coastal Health District issued a swimming advisory for St. Simons and Jekyll Island beaches. For more continuing coverage, download the Action News Jax app. We will send you the very latest alerts to your phone as we learn them. You can also find a photo gallery of the rescue pictures and see video from Sky Action News Jax. You can find it by going to actionnewsjax.com or search Action News Jax in your app store.
First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burge told us today that what was once a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane is no more. And finally, the remnants of Dorian have been essentially soaked up by a low-pressure system. However, the storm's destruction across the Bahamas will be around for months and years, really. Let's get you caught up with the latest on that. At least 43 people now dead, thousands more still missing. According to the Bahamas press, more than 3,000 are feared dead in Abaco alone. 70,000 people now homeless. A massive oil spill on Grand Bahama is now threatening wildlife.
A local college student tells Action News Jax she watched images coming from the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian, fearing for her family's safety. Christia Clark grew up in Nassau. She's now a student at UNF. Action News Jax Ryan Nelson reports she's overwhelmed by the generosity of strangers trying to help the island recover.
She's hundreds of miles from home, but that doesn't mean she isn't watching the aftermath closely.
The catastrophe led me to think, like, it could have been me.
Christia Clark is a student at the University of North Florida. She was born and raised in Nassau, Bahamas. Clark recounted what it was like not knowing how her family was doing during Dorian.
When the power came back on and everything started to settle down, it was fine. I was able to reach them and they affirmed that they were okay. I saw the videos, they were swarming the internet, all on WhatsApp and social media.
On Saturday, I joined local pilots on a supply flight to Great Abaco, delivering your supplies collected in Jacksonville. Landing, we saw trees snapped in half, buildings destroyed, and people standing in long lines in the sun waiting for a chance to leave Great Abaco. Clark tells me she has a relative there.
A close relative of mine does have a sister who was there, and she lost everything.
And she's encouraged by the world coming together to help the Bahamas.
It's great to see, like, the U.S. We see you guys had a major role in helping us out, and other islands and countries from abroad shipping in things. It's great to see everyone come together to make a big difference.
Ryan Nelson, Fox 30. Action News Jax.
Today, nearly 50 dogs rescued in the Bahamas arrived in Florida in need of homes. These are new pictures from the Dog Ranch Rescue. The dogs arrived on a yacht normally used for charter sailing. The rescue group told the Palm Beach Post that 52 dogs arrived, with 3 of them set to be reunited with their owners, who were also brought to Florida. The other 49 will be in medical quarantine for several weeks to get healthy and ready for a new home.
Action News Jax is teaming up with our news partners 104.5 WOKV for a joint Bahamas relief effort. The Convoy of Care will be set up Tuesday at the roundabout near Maggiano's in the town center until 2 p.m. And we're only collecting the items that are on your screen right now: water, baby supplies, hygiene products, flashlights, batteries, and dog food.
The First Baptist Church in downtown consolidating its massive campus from 1.5 million square feet to 182,000 square feet. 9 blocks of properties now on the market, and the church is hoping to sell it to 1 or 2 buyers. Action News Jack's Bridget Matter sat down with the pastor today, who says there are already some interested buyers.
And we spoke to the pastor. He wouldn't go into detail about who's inquiring about this massive amount of property that has just opened up in downtown Jacksonville. This block on Ashley Street is the only block out of the 10 that the church will keep. The First Baptist Church in downtown Jacksonville has been around for 181 years. Its sprawling campus expands 10 blocks, 1.5 million square feet of property, soon to be consolidated into 182,000 square feet.
This sprawling, enormous complex downtown is just too expensive to maintain, and it's unnecessary.
Senior Pastor Heath Lambert says the church would need to spend millions just to maintain the campus over the next 5 years. They're already spending $5 million per year on maintaining the property.
Spending $72 million on buildings makes us a property management organization, not a church.
The historic church building and the block it sits on Ashley Street will be kept and undergo a $30 million renovation. Lambert says with a steady decline of church attendance in the last 20 years, the need for 10 blocks is unnecessary. This means 9 blocks are now up for sale and will contribute to downtown Jacksonville growth. First Baptist plans to add churches in other areas of Jacksonville in hopes of increasing attendance. The renovation for the historic church building is expected to take between 18 and 24 months. The start date on that has not been announced. In downtown Jacksonville, Bridget Matter, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
JEA is warning customers about a scam. The utility says scammers are claiming to be JEA and threatening to disconnect customer service if they don't make a payment with a gift card. JEA says they will never demand payment over the phone. Good news in the ancient city. The St. Augustine Pier was able to reopen this weekend for the first time since Hurricane Dorian brushed our coast Wednesday. An engineer with the city deemed it safe for beachgoers and fishermen on Saturday.
It's been nearly 7 weeks since a dozen families were made homeless by a massive apartment fire. Action News Jax showed you in July when the fire started at the Callaway Cove Apartments. Since then, a mother and her 3 children are still fighting for their lives. Action News Jax Jamarlo Phillips shows us how life is starting to get back to normal for some neighbors at the complex.
Life is getting better for some fire victims in Moncrief.
Some of the children 8 weeks later are still in the hospital from their burns.
Just a short time ago, a fire gutted through this apartment complex. 5 children and 2 adults were hurt in the fire.
They've now all been relocated into new apartments, and they need beds.
Through the Hope to Dream program, 26 beds will be delivered to families here at Callaway Cove Apartments. Take a look here. This is what 16 children will get: their own NFL Jaguars themed comforter set.
Today, we're just privately taking the beds into their homes. We're setting them up, and we know that they are extremely grateful.
And for the people who made it happen,
we just hope that maybe that's something really fun that they can enjoy and feel like they're getting something special, and maybe make up in a small way for what they've been through.
Fusina tells me it cost around $18,000 to make it happen. Some families we talked to feel like Christmas came early for them. Jamarlo Phillips, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
500 local students have a new pair of shoes thanks to a donation. Earlier today, volunteers with Samaritan's Feet International helped pass the new shoes to students at St. Clair Evans Academy in the Moncrief community. One volunteer tells Action News Jax they gave out more than shoes today. They gave out hope.
That message of hope is really simple. Dream big dreams. Education is the key, and never, ever give up.
Students also got a chance to get their feet washed and got new socks. Volunteers say some of the students had shoes that were 3 sizes too small.
In St. Johns County, the Aldi in St. Augustine will reopen next week. There will be a ribbon-cutting ceremony on Thursday, September 19th at 8:25 a.m. The store was closed as a part of a nearly $2 billion renovation to stores nationwide. During the grand reopening, customers can take part in giveaways and sweepstakes. Jacksonville's largest haunted house, the 13th floor, opens Friday. General admission tickets start at $13 opening night. Fast Pass and Skip the Line tickets are also available. The 13th floor haunted house is at 9230 Arlington Expressway near Regency Square Mall.
That's about when we're going to cool off. Halloween. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Bursch. It is hot right now, and we will see at least somewhat lower temperatures the next few days. I'll have that first forecast in a few minutes.
Plus, battling the heat at the bank. We talked to Jags fans about how they kept it cool and what it felt like out there in that 120-degree heat.
A Florida boy who was bullied for his drawing is getting noticed by his favorite school. How the University of Tennessee is now helping combat bullying with this design.
And breaking news, Sky Action News Jax is live over at Brunswick Hospital, where the 4th rescue crew member just arrived. We're going to continue to keep you posted.
And we continue to follow the breaking news in St. Simon's Island. You're looking now moments ago as the ambulance carrying the 4th crew member, we believe the ambulance carrying the 4th crew member stuck in that capsized cargo ship, brought that crew member to the hospital there in Brunswick, Glenn County, Georgia. He appeared to be okay as he walked on his own onto that boat waiting to carry him to shore. So good news there as we continue to follow that story, the capsized cargo ship. If you were watching the Jags game yesterday, you may have seen this, the on-field temperatures feeling like well over 120 degrees, actually maxed out.
Yeah, and there were 86 medical calls to the stadium, and 18 people ended up having to go to the hospital. Action News Jax Bridget Matter found out the options Jags fans have to stay cool at the game.
The Jags home opener was a scorcher. JFRD, they recorded temperatures of more than 120 degrees inside the stadium, and 18 people had to be taken to the hospital. In the season opener of the Jags and Kansas City Chiefs, there was a lot of drama on the field, with Foles out in the first 10 minutes due to a broken collarbone and Miles Jack thrown out of the game after a heated scuffle. Fans felt the heat in the stands, literally. The temperature on the field was above 120 degrees. JFRD was busy responding to 86 calls during Sunday's game, and 18 people ended up in the hospital. A viewer sent us these photos of paramedics helping people suffering from the heat. We asked the Jags if they asked the NFL to play the game at a later time to avoid the heat. A spokesperson told us conversations with the league are confidential. I also asked if they're looking into modifying the stadium with a roof similar to the Miami Dolphins or allowing people to bring in more water. That question was not answered directly, but team spokesperson Tad Dickman did provide a statement that included how fans were able to access water and find relief from the heat. He also said in part, as in the past for early season games, precautions were taken to help fans be prepared for the heat. Some fans hope they'll be allowed to bring in more water, while others say people should think about hydrating more.
We live in Florida. You're supposed to be ready for that.
Bridget Matter, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
All right, so Action News Jax wants to know what you think should be done about the intense heat at the games, especially here in September. You're seeing a live poll right now. 54% of you want to see some kind of floating shade. 29% say a closed roof. To share your thoughts, go to actionnewsjax.com/vote. Other big headlines out of the Jags home opener, of course, Nick Foles went down with a broken collarbone. Miles Jack got into a fight and got kicked out of the game. This afternoon, head coach Doug Marrone addressed both issues after practice. And coming up in less than 10 minutes, the Action Sports Jax team will join us live from Topgolf as they get ready to debut their new Monday night show, Jags Report Live. There's the gang right there, looking sharp at Topgolf. Live look right there as they're getting ready. Brent Martineau, Dan Hicken, both there. We'll discuss Sunday's hot topics as well as sit down with special guest, new receiver Chris Conley.
A Florida boy's hand-drawn design is now the latest piece of merchandise at the University of Tennessee. I saw this on social media and I loved it. So the boy created his own UT shirt with the logo you see right here for his school's College Color Spirit Day. But he was bullied for drawing his own design on a piece of paper and then sticking it to an orange shirt that he owned. So look at this. When the university heard about his story, they sent him a package of official UT gear and they made his logo into a shirt that they will sell, and a portion of the proceeds will go to Stomp Out Bullying.
That is amazing. The best day of my career because you guys did that. Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Incredible new video just into Action News Jax shows crews reacting to the final rescue from inside of that capsized cargo ship. You can see the man rescued there pouring water on himself, standing and waving. Those are excellent signs. The Coast Guard captain in that video, if you couldn't hear it, describing this as the best day of his career. And you can also see their crew member hydrating plenty after a harrowing few hours.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
That is good news. St. Simon's Island set a record high temperature today, by the way, of about 96 degrees, and they're on the ship, on that surface. The feel-like temperatures were well above 100 degrees. Officially at the International Airport, 96 degrees today, just short of the record high of 97 set back in 1990. The average is in the upper 80s. We're well above that. And no rain on 5 Sweep First Alert Doppler HD, at least not in the immediate area. We had a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms to the north and west that have since fallen apart and dissipated. That's about it. These storms were about 45 miles northwest of St. Simon's Island, and that's just about all that we're going to see now, as there's a few high thin clouds and the temperatures are dropping off a bit closer to the Atlantic with the help of the wind off the Atlantic. And that will be the theme here as we go through this week. It's not going to be as hot. Temperatures will start to come down a bit, near 90 still tomorrow, and then mid to upper 80s the rest of the week, right on into the beginning of the weekend, and just a shade below average. And that's largely because of onshore winds out of the east. That'll bring in a little bit extra cloud cover and eventually a little more rain. It's pretty hit and miss, that rainfall, for the next few days. But by Thursday and particularly Friday, and this is 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, we'll see some showers and a few storms as that wind comes in off the Atlantic. Sometimes at the beaches in the overnight and morning hours in particular, tendency to shift a little bit more inland in the afternoon, and that's true through Saturday and right on into Sunday. We should all get some rain at least over that 3-day period. In some cases, it'll be pretty heavy rainfall, and some of it has to do with the tropics. We have a tropical wave right now that's north of Puerto Rico. This will head westbound through the Bahamas Bahamas. I know that doesn't sound good based on what Dorian has done over the last couple of weeks, but it looks like this one stays weak. We'll move to the west-northwest, so it adds some rainfall to the equation for our forecast later this week into the weekend, but any long-range development would more likely occur west of Florida. We'll keep a close eye on it. More in Talking the Tropics with Mike. Gabrielle over the North Atlantic is not a threat, and then a couple of waves over the central and eastern Atlantic to keep an eye on in the long range over the next, say, 10 to 15 days or so. So not as hot by the end of the week, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, scattered showers and storms increasing, especially by Friday into the weekend, always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast with highs in the 80s. ActionNewsJax.com. Check out the Burrish blog. I've written a summary of Dorian and its impacts and forecasts. It's the Burrish blog at ActionNewsJax.com and the First Alert weather app.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax, powered by Safe Touch Security.
It appears he's holding his left side, but he took a shot.
Oh, man, a gut punch to Jacksonville and to the Jaguars organization. 10 plays, a touchdown pass, and Nick Foles goes to injured reserve. We won't see him till mid-November, Brent Martineau.
Not good. Brent Martineau, Dan Hicken here at Top Golf. Come on down. A new show starting tonight.
Yeah.
Jags Report live every Monday, 7 o'clock on CBS47. But let's talk more about this football team for the moment. And Gardner Minshew is your quarterback of the present. And he looked pretty good yesterday. Gives you a little hope, excitement about next week, because normally you use your quarterback and it's like season over.
Right.
But Minshew was 22 of 25 on Sunday. Showed great poise, accuracy, confidence. Now can he do it for the next 9 games for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Here's the head coach.
the other day was an unbelievable indication of that, because I really don't know how many people, especially rookies, you know, can go out there not having done anything, you know, I mean, during the week. And that's the truth. I mean, you know, Nick took all the snaps, you know, to go out there and play like that.
All right, but the Jaguars had to add to the roster and get another quarterback, so they make a move today. They trade for Josh Dobbs. You might remember him from the University of Tennessee. He's been up in Pittsburgh, 6'3", over 200 pounds. Jags give up a 5th-round pick to acquire Dobbs from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll back up Gardner Minshew going forward.
Hey, so much more talk about the quarterback situation with a guy who's catching passes from the quarterbacks. Chris Conley, Jaguars receiver, will join us tonight, 7 o'clock, live from Topgolf. Come on down or watch on CBS 47 in just a few minutes.
All right, one more college note. The Florida Gator-Tennessee game, time announced today. Hey, great, noon. Hot sun in Gainesville. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, boy. That's
Remember when
because
this was a 3:30 CBS game?
Yeah, well, Tennessee's let us down there. Auburn and Texas A&M will be the 3:30 game on CBS 47. Notre Dame and Georgia that night also on CBS 47, doubleheader day.
We're going to talk a lot of football coming up in just a few minutes. Switch on over to CBS 47. Chris Conley is here, coming off a career day. We're going to have a lot of fun. Jags are 0-1, but a lot of football to be played. For Dan Hick and I'm Brent Martineau, live from Topgolf, guys. Back to you.
No Blazers, they're about to have fun.
They are about to have fun. 15-1, that's what we'll be, right? I mean, you know, we'll give them
15-game win streak. There we go. We're looking at a very warm evening across the area tonight.
See you at 10.
Fox 30 Action News Jax is a Cox Media Group station.
TIAA Bank Field, oh, a home opener, well, maybe to forget, but we must go forward. The Jags lost there yesterday on a hot day in Jacksonville to the Kansas City Chiefs, Brett.
It's the newest show in Jacksonville, one of the coolest places in Jacksonville. We're watching football and talking football with Jaguars players live at Top Golf tonight.
This is the Action Sports Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
Here's a look inside Top Golf, and you are more than welcome to join us every Monday night for this brand new show, Jags Report Live. Chris Conley joins us live on the show, the Jaguars wide receiver, coming up in just a little bit, live on CBS 47. Brett Martineau along with Dan Hicken, and obviously a lot to digest. Although 24 hours ago it wasn't so pretty in Jacksonville, right? Disaster of an opener, really, if you say it clearly.
Well, and the big thought tonight is one thing and one thing only, and that's the loss of Nick Foles. Think about this, Brent. They signed Nick Foles back in March. We were talking about Nick Foles last November and December, looking forward to bringing this guy to Jacksonville and seeing what he could do, finally giving us some legitimacy, I think, at the quarterback spot, a true leader, if you will. And in the end, Nick Foles gets injured. He goes down with an injury, and now he's lost at least until mid-November.
You feel bad for Foles because he put in a lot of investment in the locker room and being a leader. He got the captain honor a week ago, and then he goes down 10 plays into his football season. So now the Jaguars have to tread some water until Foles comes back. He's on IR. He could return in week number 11 against the Indianapolis Colts. Doug Marrone knows that too. Gardner Minshew's the guy they go to. Here's Marrone on Monday about Minshew.
Can he keep playing at that high level? You know, and you would say, you know, if you guys remember what I said before, he's one of the few guys that I've been around that you can go from the classroom and really just take it right out onto the field.
All right, so the Jaguars had to make a roster move today, and they did. They acquired Josh Dobbs to be the backup for Gardner Minshew. They had to give up a fifth-rounder. They have 2 fifth-round picks, and they gave up one of them to get Joshua Dobbs. He's been up in Pittsburgh, former University of Tennessee product. A big kid with a lot of potential. We shall see what happens with him going forward, but he's being brought in here to back up Gardner Minshew.
2 guys that will really pass the SAT test in that quarterback room. They're 2 smart guys. Let's take a look at our poll question coming up on actionnewsjax.com/vote. You can vote. What can Gardner Minshew do now? He's the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars through week number 10. How many wins do you think the Jaguars get over the next 9 weeks? They already are 0-1.
Chris Conley, wide receiver, Georgia.
Oh, what a grab! A one-handed catch! Chris Conley!
I see an opportunity to come and contribute with the team.
Pulled in by Conley for the touchdown.
Let's make it happen. Let's make this run.
There he is, Chris Conley, one of the newest Jacksonville Jaguars this offseason. And here he is on Jags Report Live on CBS 47 at Top Golf. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
6 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty good day for you. I know we'll talk about the rest of it, but a good start to your Jaguars career.
Good start to the career. We have a lot of things that we have to fix, a lot of things that we have to clean up, but that's the beauty of football. It's a long season and a lot to go.
Wide receivers yesterday played. A lot of question about them, let's be honest, going into the season. But Dede got in the end zone as well. I mean, all the receivers. And Chark, what a performance by him, 146 receiving yards. I know you're a confident bunch. You have to be to play at the professional level. But, man, if I told you guys you're going to have over 300 yards receiving, you would have taken that, right?
I definitely would have taken it. But, you know, I believe in those guys. We have a lot of talent in that room. Very young, but a lot of talent. And the thing that makes me believe that this receiving group can be great is those guys come into work every day, and they really learn from all their mistakes. And as long as you progress in this league, the sky's the limit.
How's your golf game, first of all? Because we might have to look at this a little bit later.
My golf game is absolutely terrible. Top Golf is probably the only place you'll see me swinging a golf club, but it needs lots of work.
We'll get you better on Monday nights here on CBS 47 Jags Report Live, because Chris will join us a bunch throughout the course of the season. And, you know, you talk about your day. What about the Monday? Outside world, the sky is falling, you're 0-1, defense didn't play well, you give up 40 to Kansas City. What was it like in the film room today for you guys?
The big thing about a Monday after a loss, especially beginning of the season, is your approach to it, your mindset. You can come in, you can panic, or you can come in, you can take the good with the bad, take everything with a grain of salt, and realize that there's a lot of work that needs to go on between now and your next game. This Monday we came in, we looked at the film, we saw all the mistakes, we saw the penalties. We saw the mental errors, the times where we got out of our game and we made mistakes where we gave them field position, we gave them second opportunities, and we also saw the good things. We saw the ability to move the ball with our second-string quarterback. We saw the ability of our defense to snap back and to make some plays, but we know all the things that we have to do and that we have to work at. And we're not really kidding ourselves here. We know there's a lot of work that has to be done for this team to get those wins.
We got a lot to talk about with Chris tonight, but we also got to talk about the guy who took Nick Foles' place. You know, in football, next man up, right? That's what happened yesterday. Gardner Minshew stepped in, and, well, he was terrific. I mean, who saw that? You may have saw that coming, but none of the fans did. What a performance by him.
I think Garner was really prepared for that opportunity. Yeah. You know, we kind of threw him in the fire in the preseason. You know, came to him the day before the game and said, hey, the starters aren't playing. You got this game. And Garner really, he didn't blink. He went in there. He was fearless. He took some shots and made some mistakes, but he came in every single week during training camp to get better and to learn from Nick Foles and really get a grasp of this offense to the point where he could go out there and operate. But in that huddle, there were a lot of guys coming around him. You had Brandon Linder coming over and talking to him. The receivers came over, Leonard Fournette coming over to talk to him during the game to make sure that Garner was really just comfortable and able to execute, and that was the result.
Obviously, Nick Foles goes down. You know Nick really well from your days in Kansas City. I'm not sure you would be here without Nick Foles, and maybe you can answer that part of the question. But how much does this hurt your football team, your locker room, and you personally because you know him so well?
It hurts a lot. You know, Nick is he's a competitor. What hurt me was really my heart hurt for him yesterday, knowing how much work he's really put in for this city and how much work he's put in for this team. And, you know, things change so fast, and you have to adjust in the National Football League. But really, this is going to be a challenge for us, and it's going to take a young team. You know, it's going to take a lot for us to come together and realize what needs to be done to win games. It's hard to win games. It's a game of inches. Any mistake is a mistake that can end a game for you, and now you just lost a veteran guy. So we really have to come together, come around a young quarterback, and we got to eliminate mistakes so that we can win these games.
Well, it's only one game, so we got a long way to go. And Stuart Weber was with us yesterday down at the stadium, and right now he's going to join us and talk about the wall that tells it all.
We call it the wall that tells it all, and really this picture tells everything you need to know, and not Foles long. Maybe that's what the NFL stands for, because Nick Foles in that sling on IR. He won't be back for a long time for these Jacksonville Jaguars as they lose the opener 40-26. So where do you draw some positives from? Well, how about some top performers on offense after Foles had to leave the game? Gardner Minshew, we've talked about his great performance going 22-25, and DJ Chark, his best game as a pro in his second year as a wide receiver for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Hopefully that's a good combination, because those two are going to have to be productive moving forward. And maybe the worst part of the day that gets overlooked, the defense getting torched by Kansas City, especially Sammy Watkins. I mean, 9 catches, 198 yards, and 3 touchdowns, just beating that Jaguars defense left and right. It is the wall that tells it all. And really, it tells a sad story from week 1 of the NFL season. Let's go back to you.
There's no doubt about it. Now, Chris, football can be a violent game. I was watching yesterday. It's 3rd and 18. You caught the ball over the middle. And by the way, hallelujah that we can make a 3rd and 18. We've been here a long time. We haven't always done that. You took a shot, man. Tell me about that. And, I mean, that's the physical side of football, Chief.
Yeah, the game of football, it comes at you fast. Yeah. And so, you know, I had no idea that safety was coming out of the sky.
Right.
You know, just trusted the quarterback, and we're able to pick that one up. Didn't feel good in the moment, but about 5 minutes later, I was all right.
Okay.
But, you know, the technology in these helmets these days helping me out. But, you know, we as an offense have really been we've been challenged, you know, going against a defense that's really physical, and it really it makes it better when you come in the game. It's not the first time I've taken a shot like that.
We were happy for you that you're okay. Selfishly, we're happy for us because we're glad you're here tonight on the show. Jags Report Live. You're doing a fantastic job. More coming up with Jags wide receiver Chris Conley. But coming up next.
Oh, boy.
It's motorcycle driving time for us, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to rev it up from Sunday's game. Chiefs and Jaguars. It's next.
Give me a golf ball.
Come on out to Top Golf, and you can, I guess, hit me. We'll get one of those for you, too, Hicken.
Action Sports Jax, Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anachar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
The newest show in Jacksonville. We're talking Jaguars with wide receiver Chris Conley, and we'll get back to Chris in just a moment, live from Top Golf on Jags Report Live. But first, it's time to rev it up.
It's time for Rev It Up, powered by Adamek Harley-Davidson. Get out and ride.
You're still beasting, I see. He's trying to make it. He's trying to make it.
The people are great. Fans are unbelievable. I love this atmosphere. I miss it so much.
Now, you know you cannot wear that jersey in here.
Yes, I can.
Come on, man.
We got the trophy.
You guys sold your soul to the devil for AB, man.
We sold the devil. He sold the soul to the devil.
Quarterback number 20,
Nothing quite like opening day. It's a lot better when you win, though. Welcome back, everybody. It was hot, though, yesterday, Chris.
It was a warm one. It was a warm
man.
one. But surprisingly, that wasn't the hottest day that we've had. In camp, we had days hotter than that.
Yeah.
And so once we got into the second half, we were able to settle in, but we were pumping lots of fluids.
Yeah, you absolutely got to do that, prevent injuries. There were some injuries, and we continue to keep an eye on the offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This changed about 5 days ago, a couple days before the football game. Cam Robinson hurt his other knee, not the ACL knee, but his other knee in practice. Couldn't play on Sunday. Jags had to go to their third left tackle, Will Richardson Jr. I think he did an admirable job in that spot.
today said he did a great job, and he has no problem putting it back out there.
We'll get more updates on not only Cam Robinson, the rest of the offensive line, but the rest of the injuries for the Jaguars midweek on Wednesday. Of course, we'll have that for you on Action Sports Jax, your official Jaguar stations, CBS47 and FOX30. One quick thought about Nick Foles. I said, would you be here without Nick Foles? How much of that was a phone call from Nick or a phone call from you saying, let's get the band back together?
It was a little bit of both. We had talked, what is it now, 3 years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, in an off-season out at Nick's house in California about the opportunity of playing with each other again, and that we would do whatever it took in that instance to make it happen. And I saw Nick sign with the Jaguars, and I texted my agent. I said, man, how crazy would it be if I ended up in Jacksonville playing with Nick? About 5 minutes later, I got a call on my phone, and it was Nick saying, hey, man, what do you think about coming to Jacksonville? The rest is history, and I'm here.
Very good deal. Hey, coming up next, we go to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood on a Sunday at the bank. Segment on Monday you'll see all the time on Jags Report Live, plus a few good minutes with Chris Conley, the Jaguars wide receiver. We are live at Top Golf. Come on out and join us each and every Monday night, 7 o'clock on CBS 47.
watching the Action Sports Jax Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anichar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
Hey, we told everybody to wave when you're on camera, so there they are. They're waving. They listen very well here at Top Golf. Jags Report Live on CBS47. Jaguars coming off a 40-26 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. But now they try to get back at it next week in Houston. Brent Martineau, Dan Hicken, Jags wide receiver Chris Conley, our first ever show here at Top Golf, and we're enjoying it. Come on out every single week, 7 o'clock on CBS 47. All right, we call it a few good minutes with Chris.
All right.
You ready?
Ready.
All right. You're a dog, a Georgia Bulldog.
I am.
And by the way,
Go
you almost
Dogs.
got yourself a little bit of trouble in training camp with those Gators, didn't you?
Not at all. Not at all.
He's a Gator, by the way. You want
all I have to do is talk about our record for the past couple of years, and it all stops. It all stops.
The series really started in 1990, I believe, if you really want to go back. I love you, and I know you had a few wins in your time there. I think you were 3-1. Is that correct?
This is true, but some people like to live in the past.
Yes.
If you look at the here and now, the Dogs are on top.
Yeah, they are, unfortunately, but that's great. We're happy for you. Congratulations on the red and black. I read something about you that I want to ask you. Is this true that you hold the, and I don't know if you still do, the combine record for the vertical jump? Did you know that?
I do. I still hold the vertical jump record at the combine.
Holy cow.
45 inches.
45 inches.
45. That's almost 4 feet.
I thought maybe we could both jump next to Chris. He'll go 45, and we'll go half.
It's like a box jump.
See?
Don't get him hurt. And really, more importantly,
45 inches.
Don't get you hurt then, because
that's true. I'd blow out a knee if I went too
we
high.
need you during the whole football season. You like to surf.
I do.
Well, now you do. You picked it up. How did this all come about? You live out by the beach. Tell us a little bit more about surfing and Chris.
So actually, my wife and I took a vacation to Hawaii. And while we were out in Hawaii, I had the bright idea, let's try surfing. You know, I'd always seen it when I was a kid. And we went out for the first time while we were in Hawaii. And then we found out a couple months later that we'd be relocating here to Jacksonville and that people here in Jacksonville surf. Within our first week of being down here, we were sent to Sunrise Surf Shop.
Yeah.
Got some boards, and ever since then, we've been surfing probably once or twice a week.
Now, here's another interesting fact to know and tell about Chris Conley. Tell everybody, you know, he's a Georgia Bulldog, so, you know, he's probably from Macon. You know, he probably grew up in Macon or maybe just outside of Athens, maybe Moultrie, Georgia. Where were you born, Chris Conley?
I was actually born in Turkey, so that catches people off guard. I'm a military brat.
Yeah.
In the Air Force. My dad did 20 years, and
thank him.
I was born in Adana, Turkey, over there, and then I just moved around a lot. So I don't really have one place that I'm from. You know, I lived in Warner Robins, Georgia, Turkey, obviously. I was in California, Edwards Air Force Base, Lancaster, off base there, and then we moved to Ackworth, Georgia, out in the sticks, and that's where I did high school.
Well, you're adaptable, that's for sure.
If you hadn't gone to Georgia, where would you have gone? What was your second choice?
My second choice was actually, everybody's going to hate me for this, but my second choice, my number 2 was Alabama.
Okay.
But I ended up going to Georgia, made the right choice.
I wish you had said Florida right there and spurned Dan, at least for the moment. Let's bring in another member of our team on Action Sports Jax. Each and every Monday, Marcel Robinson brings us to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
The bank is back open for business, and you know what that means. No, not the much anticipated regular season debut of Nick Foles. No, not the ungodly temperatures underneath this hot sun in Florida. It's the return of Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Let's get the obvious observation out the way. It was hot, blistering, on-field temperatures reaching the triple digits and hanging there for the duration of the entire game. Meanwhile, in the flex field, football and football intertwined as the Jacksonville University Dolphins men's soccer team hosted their 3rd annual Jags Clinic.
We got about 110 kids out here that were excited. We have so many returners from year to year. So the fact that soccer and football can coexist in the same place, for us as soccer people, it's exciting that we know that soccer has a place in our community.
Fins having fun teaching fundamentals of football. Doesn't get any better than that, right?
That's got a nice ring to it as well. Yeah, I like that.
You know it, you love it. The weekly You Lost fam winner. Saquon Barkley was considered, but in the end, my man Sawyer Klein stuck out like a sore thumb outside the bowl.
I gotta stay loyal to the Denver Broncos. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, maybe it was a ploy to troll the division rival Chiefs fans. Either way, didn't work. Unfortunately, the party only lasted during the pregame, but it was fun while it lasted. Marcel Robinson, Action Sports Jax.
Thanks for the trip to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. Coming up next, I want to take a trip to this guy's neighborhood.
Yeah.
Meeting Gardner Minshew. He's an interesting guy, and he's now the quarterback of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's Jaguars Report Live. We're at Top Golf having a good time. We're talking Minshew with Conley next.
You're watching the Action Sports Jax Report Live, sponsored by Anichar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
All right, back to Top Golf here on CBS 47, Jags Report Live. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Monday night. You can do this each and every Monday. Chris Conley, take a swing.
Oh!
Hey, you said you're no good at this game.
He said he was no good.
That's a pretty
Smoked
good hit.
that one.
And very kind of you not to hit me out there
Player.
on the break.
Need some work.
Thank you.
Player.
Brett Martineau, Dan Hicken,
work.
Chris Conley, Jaguars wide receiver back. And the big story today, obviously Nick Foles out until at least week 11. We'll see if he can get back off injured reserve. So that means it's Gardner Minshew's team at the quarterback position. This cat's an interesting cat now, isn't he?
Tell him the
That
story
he
you just told
is.
me in the break when you guys went out to the movies. as a
First
team.
week here
Yeah.
for OTAs, we had a team outing at the movies.
Right.
And so, you know, the rookies kind of stick together and they roll in squads because they don't really know anyone yet. So the squad of rookies shows up at the movies, led by this character with the massive mustache. He walks in with some shortcut Daisy Dukes and a cut-off tie-dye tank top and an American flag bandana. And that was Gardner Minshew walking into the movies, and I'd never seen anything like that before. I was standing there with Calais and Leonard, and we said, who did we just draft?
I think we could top that, though. We've got some pictures of Gardner
Check 'em
Minshew
out.
that we want to show folks. This is at the top of his Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So that's Gardner. This is what he's posted, he and the Jaguar driving. That's your quarterback. So, you know, you may want to practice that. There's Gardner Minshew. What else do we have of Gardner Minshew? He put this on Instagram. I don't scratch my head unless it itches, and I don't dance unless I hear some music. I will not be intimidated. That's just the way it is. Hashtag let's go to work.
What's he like in the huddle?
You know, Gardner has a lot of confidence. You know, especially for a guy who hasn't been around some of these guys.
Took that hit.
And, you know, he's got a lot of resilience, too. Tough. You know, he took a hit like that. He hopped right back up, got back in the game, and was able to make some plays after that hit. And, you know, that's some of the things that we look at for young guys when they come into these situations because it's hard to do in this league.
Look at this picture from the Senior Bowl. This is from the Senior Bowl in
That's his
Mobile,
job
Alabama,
interview.
when he's going to interview for a job.
Yeah, you know, that's part of the confidence there, you know. He lets his resume speak for itself, and then he lets his personality show. You know, that's one of the things that we love about him. He is himself, and he will not change for anyone else.
Awesome. Well, we'll see what he does. He did a great job yesterday. Next stop, Houston. We'll be in Houston with the Jags on Sunday. Have a good week of preparation. Thanks for coming out here, and you can come and join Chris Conley and all of us on CBS 47 live at Top Golf on Mondays. We'll see you next Monday, and a lot of in between there on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching live from Top Golf.
Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax Report Live, sponsored by Anichar and Levine Accident Attorneys.